being recorded.
There she is.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tech Talk. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I know, the car goes. Yeah, we've got some really interesting stuff. We're going to finish off that last 4 or 5 there, 16 through 20. From 2023, this will be the 3rd episode to get through it because we had such a great discussion. And then as we were discussing just prior to the start of the show, I've been looking at this hydrogen stuff. So it's pretty exciting and it's interesting. Talk about being educated and some of the ways that you can make hydrogen. I did not realize it is pretty well a synthesized product, right? I mean, there is in space and the universe and Star Trekky and Star Warsy stuff, but other than that, it was like, oh, I just knew it was #1 on the periodic table. Like, I don't know why, right? Of course, I haven't looked at one of those since I was 16 and had a bigger attitude than I know, but I had a bigger attitude at the time, right?
The fact that it's #1 is really good because that means it's really abundant.
Yeah. Yes, but you know, so yeah, it'll be fun to get through that. Just some reminders of events, folks. Don't forget after this at 11 o'clock, Ivan will be doing the back end training. If you have any questions, that's the place to ask. I have a couple. I was really like, I'm gonna kill this website because after I got all my keywords, it disappeared, and it was like,
really?
Okay. And so I have a few questions to ask for that, and that's today. Nothing over the weekend. Again, Monday morning, Ivan will be. Oh, geez. Oh, are we crazy people? That's
yes. Our entrepreneur is crazy.
Crazy. I knew I saw.
That's right.
I saw that. And then, of course, Lisa will be leading the discussion lounge from 9:30 till from 10:30. I'm sorry, till 11:30. And then we want to let you know about some of our big events. June 20th, Monday, June 20th, is our axe throwing, right? We need an RSVP so that we can book the proper amount of lanes. And again, you know, get a friend to come as well. It's for both members and non-members. Okay. And then our July, and that one, I've lost the date. Is it 26? Ivan? It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, yes.
Because we know
check the website.
the Monday is bad in the best house, okay? We're going to West Avenue Cider House up in Freelton. It's a lovely place, family friendly, as again Jennifer mentioned. So don't forget to give us an RSVP for that. All right.
And that is the 26th.
It is the 26th. Okay. Yeah, I've got 5 till 7, but I think we put it on. But I mean, it's whenever we leave, right? Nobody's gonna him nor hair about that, one way or the other. Where did that page go? There it is. I just gotta see what. Oh, it is that one. Okay. Are you guys seeing my YouTube?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm sure I did the share screen first, but we'll find out in a second. Let me know if you're getting volume, guys. We're going to finish off on these inventions to expect by 2023, which sounds kind of far off, but really it's not. Really. I kept thinking it was like 5 years because I'm writing my certificates for 2025 right now, so I'm always 3 years ahead. So it is a little farther than I thought, but you know. So here we go.
Creators at the time, which will multiply reading and writing speed.
Oh, wait a minute. We got the terabytes there. I thought I'd find that better. Okay.
They help us run apps and store files that involve technologies like virtual
you guys hearing
reality,
this?
augmented reality, advanced video editors,
just the end of the 16.
Number 16, hypersonic missiles will be commonly used in major militaries. When launched, cruise missiles typically reach 500 to 600 miles per hour However, hypersonic missiles are capable of exceeding Mach 5, which is 7 times faster than normal missiles and 5 times the speed of sound.
I don't know if you actually shared volume.
It's not possible to deflect with conventional.
Pardon?
I don't know if you actually shared audio. I
Oh.
might be hearing it through your speaker.
Oh, okay. Well, let me find
I
out.
no, I'm actually hearing it. You
Are
did
you?
share it. Yep.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
coming
All
through.
right.
It was good.
Okay.
Alright.
I double checked it. It's there. And now you're seeing me, right?
Yes.
Seeing ourselves. Why did that go like that? Oh,
Sorry, Kathryn.
yeah, it's all Ivan's fault. But I don't know.
Yeah, it was all going to tickety boo until, you know.
And then Ivan opens his big mouth and oh my goodness.
Why? Yeah, this keeps moving because I moved the screen.
Ivan, what did you do? It's
I don't
Thursday
know,
morning.
man. I know.
Yeah, I don't need any help messing this up. Okay, here we go.
Power, voice recognition, image recognition, deep learning, and other software algorithms. Likewise, natural language processing technologies like GPT-3 are constantly being updated and surpassed. It will likely reach the point where artificial intelligence can pass the Turing test. This is a test where a human engages in a conversation with a machine and probes it with numerous questions. And if that machine can convince that person that it's human, it passes the test. This could quickly lead to AI-generated virtual assistants that have the capability to carry nuanced conversations with you. And later, this technology could carry over to characters in virtual worlds and video games. Number 2, 8K virtual reality headsets will become mainstream. By 2030,
Oh, geez, sorry, guys.
I was gonna say something,
Our
but I
new
thought
class
after
of
the last
smaller-
time.
Yeah.
cheaper, safer, and more adaptable nuclear power plants.
Oh, I must have changed when I. Okay, we were on our supersonic stuff. There we go.
Yes.
Reach 500 to 600 miles per hour. However, hypersonic missiles are capable of exceeding Mach 5, which is 7 times faster than normal missiles and 5 times the speed of sound. Since they're so fast, they're difficult if not impossible to deflect with conventional defensive systems. Number 17, carbon sequestration will be commonly used in many nations. Following years of research and development, various new approaches will be utilized for trapping and removing carbon dioxide from the air. One method of carbon sequestration is the deployment of artificial trees. These artificial trees can capture carbon dioxide through a filtering system thousands of times more efficiently than real trees. They come in various shapes and can be placed throughout large cities, on the side of freeways, and other polluted areas where they can have the most positive impact. After the carbon dioxide is pulled from the air, its solid form could be used for various purposes, such as the manufacturing of products. But great care must be taken to ensure that the carbon dioxide isn't re-released into the atmosphere after it's reused. Number 18, small modular nuclear reactors could gain widespread adoption. Small modular reactors are a new class of smaller, cheaper, safer, and more adaptable nuclear power plants. Since they can be built at a much lower cost than traditional reactors, they're especially attractive to developing nations, which lack the ability to spend tens of billions of dollars on infrastructure. Small modular reactors would also allow increments of capacity to be gradually added as power needs increase over time. Number 19, several extinct species could be resurrected. By 2030, several extinct species could be restored, such as the woolly mammoth, the dodo bird, and the saber-toothed tiger. There are 3 different approaches to restore extinct animals and plants. Cloning involves extracting from preserved tissue to create an exact modern copy. Selective breeding is where a closely related modern species is given characteristics of the extinct relative. And genetic engineering is where DNA of a modern species is edited until it closely matches the extinct species. Decades from now, the restoration of extinct species could become a vital part of restoring the Earth's biosphere. For various purposes, we could even see the restoration of Homo sapiens and various dinosaur species in the coming decades. Number 20, the entire ocean floor will be mapped. As of today, less than 10% of the global ocean floor has been mapped in detail. Even surfaces of the moon, Mars, and other planets are better understood. Organizations in France and Japan are working on a collaborative project called Seabed 2030 that will produce a definitive map of the world ocean floor by 2030. As part of the effort, fleets of automated vessels capable of transoceanic journeys would cover millions of square miles, carrying with them an assortment of sensors and other technologies. These ships will deploy tethered robots to inspect areas of interest, all the way down to the floor of the ocean, thousands of miles below the surface. By 2030, the project will be largely complete. The maps would reveal the physical structure of the ocean floor with unprecedented detail, in addition to showing the location of shipwrecks, crashed planes, archaeological artifacts, and other areas of interest. Commercial applications include undersea mining and inspection of pipelines. Thanks for watching. Make sure to watch the video to the right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Correct.
there's only one fact in there that they got kind of wrong, and it's that the oceans are thousands of miles deep. They're not thousands of miles, they're thousands of feet deep.
Oh, yeah.
35,000 feet deep is only 7 miles, right?
Yeah.
That's the deepest port in the Marianas
Oh,
Trench.
I thought they were talking about like space. I didn't realize they were talking deep. I didn't actually hear that portion of it.
And I was like, okay, they got that one wrong. But
yeah,
that's
but it goes
cool.
right into what you were talking about, right?
Yep.
Find those chasms that they may not have found before, and send some submersible that can handle that kind of depth in there. And I think it's great for the pipelines and the transatlantic lines of all the kinds of stuff, right? That we want to move, and the nuclear reactor portion too. I think
there's actually a proposal that's been around in Ontario to build these small scale reactors in various places around the province. Just because of they're smaller, they're modular, they don't take up the same footprint, and apparently they're quite efficient too compared to the old CANDU type reactors we have in Ontario.
That would certainly help with the production of hydrogen, right? Because that is one of the major ways of producing hydrogen is through nuclear reactors, right?
Okay.
And so it's kind of interesting they were talking about all this stuff, as well as the carbon catching. I think it's great that, maybe they can reproduce stuff, right, to help us clean our environment, because every little bit helps. It doesn't matter, how much, and that they could produce other stuff. But you notice they were showing that any CO2 that was released during production, they wanted to send underground, right? And that's how a lot of hydrogen production is talking about being net zero, because that's everybody's goal, to be green hydrogen, right?
Yeah.
But guys, like we talked about burying nuclear waste and found out that it doesn't work very well, right?
Right.
We don't know in a million years or whatever years, because its half-life is like a billion years or something like that.
Yeah, thousands of that. Like I think it's like 40,000 years.
Yeah, it's beyond my little brain's comprehension.
I won't be here.
Why would we do that with CO2 when we don't know what it's going to do?
Well, it's not going to do anything. They're just trying to get it out of the atmosphere.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't. There's no.
When it leaches through the land, is it going to siphon it? Is it going to break it down?
No. It just gets released into the atmosphere and increases greenhouse gas.
It's when it's in its gas, and that's what I think the key of those artificial trees is that it turns it into a hard form. Once it's a hard form, it's not in the atmosphere. I mean, it can be released over time.
Of whatever, are we going to create more? And again, if you're it's one of those, are we really doing something great, like the electric cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing to produce the electricity to make cleaner cars drive? It's a balancing act, right?
There is no truly green solution. In fact, even the extinction of the human race, a lot of these gases and whatever processes are going to continue, right? Like there's not a real true zero. The true zero doesn't exist.
Well, yes and no. I mean,
No.
No, as long as you have anything living on the planet, you know.
Oh, no.
Right.
The production of though, right? That's what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have a carbon neutral environment, obviously. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, I have to say, I think personally, right, that I agree with the whole cost of getting transport trucks that can haul things long distances and stuff. But I also think that who wants electricity to be the major thing? I mean, who wants that? Considering that Michael and Nathan and myself, you know, we can all buy solar panels, throw them on our roof, get a small turbine, and then and really, other than maintenance, we never have to. No one's going to make any money monthly from you, right? Yeah. Right. So therefore, when you look at it and you look at the future and you realize that if everybody, you know, smartened up, they just buy solar panels. Those prices are coming down. They throw them on their roofs. They charge up at home. This is what my brother does with his Tesla. Yeah. You know, and he says, you know, it's been 4 years now or 3.5 years now that he's ever gone to a gas station. Think about if everybody did that, then wow, there'd be a world war, you know. So why would we do that? It's a bad way to go, right?
Yeah,
but at least hydrogen, that's not something that you and I can rush out there and get enough hydrogen, you know, out of the atmosphere and put it into our cars. We need a corporation to do that, and so therefore the you know, the stock market continues to chug forward and everything's good.
Yeah, that's a good point. But we may end up being that those, you know, there will be that percentage that will stay with the electric, right? Because the electric is going to become more efficient and less of a footprint, right? With these small nuclear plants, right, that are modular. And, you know, again, make it as green as possible, right? So I was doing some research again on hydrogen, which is H2, and they have these colors, and there's, I think, 9 of them. And green obviously is for the reasons, right? It's produced by some renewable energy. Okay. And so the one that they're talking about is that the process for making hydrogen is you've got to heat it up. And when it's heated up, it just creates this continuous explosion of energy. And that's what gives us our hydrogen, right? And I have a little video that this quirky guy that looks like Einstein's younger brother, he's actually quite clear about it. So that being used with renewable resources like solar or wind turbine, right, makes it a green energy, right, or green hydrogen. And I saw this like black and brown. Do you know somebody thinks it's a good idea to use coal to produce hydrogen? Probably in America. Sorry, folks, but you know.
Gotta get a plug in there for the coal industry, right?
Like, who in their right mind thought, right? And again, natural resources like fossil fuels, right? We're trying to get away from fossil fuels because of the CO2 produced from burning them. And so this is called blue hydrogen, right? And so, but they're the ones that are saying that they're going to put the CO2 underground in these caverns. So again, you know, it either will be okay or it'll be Florida's next sinkhole, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Can I just throw something in there, Kathryn, real quick?
Yeah,
so I watched this video this morning about this guy whose Ioniq 5 died in his driveway. It completely went kaput, right? Did you see that one? So he woke up in the morning, he went out there. Normally, as he walks towards the car, the door handle kind of opens towards him so he can just jump in the car. Didn't happen. But he had this little device that he bought. It's like you know those things that you get for your cell phone where you charge it up and then you take it with you, and if your phone dies, you plug it in and charge it up. So he had a little battery pack that came with those 2 little clipper things, like like a charger in your car, right? And he connected it to the battery, the 12 volt under the hood, and it but as soon as it was connected, the car said, okay, now you've got 20 miles to go. So you know, for people with range anxiety, you have these things, you throw them in the back, and as you're traveling along, oh, I'm out of gas. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and put these things on my car and continue to drive for another 20 miles until I get to a charging station.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that is cool to know. Yeah. Yeah, because those things are really, really exciting, the cars, I must admit. And you're going to share with us that information soon about Chris Harris gave about the corporations that tax write-off for electric cars in Canada. Dog safety dog.
Oh yes, I shared that before, right?
No, not on me.
Yeah, on the call, people were asking about it, and I dropped it right in the chat window from him. But I'll pull up his email and I'll share it.
I'd love to find that out. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So going on to the nuclear reactors, these new smaller nuclear reactors, there are 3 different kinds of nuclear power that can create by different ways, right? Some of it's the water, some of it's the I'm not even going to go there. There's 3 different ways, and that's purple, pink, and red. Okay. Yeah, I know. I tried. I really tried. The one that is really kind of exciting is turquoise methane. That or turquoise hydrogen using methane as the source. Well, methane is natural occurring from all these landfills that we've done for a gazillion years, right? And again, turning the CO2 into a solid, like they mentioned on those tree filters, artificial tree filters. But that is very experimental still, very in the earliest stages. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. And remember how I talked about the water, that it was 99% salt and 1% fresh, right, on the globe. So I started Googling, like, are we threatening our fresh water by producing hydrogen? And that's when I got that stat. But they said they're actually in Israel right now, they desalinate, right? And about 50% of that water is usable for producing hydrogen. And then the other 50 just goes back to its source.
Yeah, and we have in Canada, USA, the Great Lakes, I believe, contains 60% of all the fresh water in the world.
Yeah, right. So thank goodness for our coast to coast, right? So that they can, have access to. Maybe there's something, a new industry for alert, right? Desalination.
Well, desalination is actually really old technology.
It is old.
And there's companies in this area that do it. There was a big one in Burlington that was actually started by a bunch of McMaster professors. I'm going to say back in the late 80s, early 90s. Mm-hmm. They eventually got bought out by GE, and as far as I know, their facility is still on Old Highway 5 in East Burlington.
Now, how stupid is that? A desalination plant?
No. This is where they develop the technology, and they make these units,
the manufacturing of them,
and then they ship them around the world, literally.
Well, I haven't been in Saint Martin, I'm going to say in 10 years, 11 years. And in Saint Martin, there is a split between the French and the Dutch. Thank you. I was going to say Belgium, but I knew that was wrong. Side. And the Dutch actually desalinate their water. Mm-hmm. Right?
Sure.
They have a good water supply, drinking water anyway, right?
But does this turn water into from a utility into a commodity? Like all of a sudden now, water becomes in demand, and all of our prices go up.
This salt water, though, we're talking.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying is, in order to convert salt water to fresh water for the process for the hydrogen vehicles, right? What's the cheapest way to do it? I mean, there's a cost to desalination, but there's no cost to just going and taking the fresh water out of the lake, right? So
yeah, but that's okay if you have the fresh water to take. What desalination does is a lot of countries that don't have fresh water, but they have access to the oceans.
That's like on St. Marquette.
It's now provided a source of good, clean, fresh water. So it's actually, so some of those countries are putting those facilities in place just for basic life needs, right? You know, you have California. By the time the Colorado River gets to California, it's like a stream. It's been sucked off everywhere along the way to water farmland and stuff. And they got this big ocean, and you know they have droughts and stuff. Well, desalination, start desalinating that water and pumping it inland.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, and I understand that. What I'm saying is that, you know, if I were a country that didn't have a desalination plant, a country like Canada might say, hey, look, you know what, we can make a lot of money by exporting our water, right? And so it becomes a commodity. And countries that have, like, maybe not Canada, because, you know, we're the kind of country that we would never let that happen. But maybe another country in Africa or something.
It depends what government's in.
See, we've actually got legislation in place in Canada because of the Great Lakes are Canada and US. So there is actually legislation in place through the International Joint Commission, an agreement on how much water can be drawn from the Great Lakes. Because if you start drawing too much, the levels will drop substantially low. And now you're impacting all kinds of different environment things. Not only are you impacting the environment, but you're also impacting what they call the inland waterway, which is our Great Lakes shipping industry that ships grains from Thunder Bay to world markets, quite frankly. And same with iron ore. Go to Duluth, Minnesota, all the big ore carriers go up there. Iron ore is mined up there. And if you drop the levels of Lake Superior gives Michigan, Huron, and Georgian Bay 60% of their inflow comes from Lake Superior. So if you start sucking it off of Lake Superior, what happens is now all of a sudden the Sarnia River becomes impassable for navigable shipping.
St. Clair, yeah.
Yep. So there's
well, the Great Lakes. How many Great Lakes are there?
5.
There's 5, right? Okay, so there's 5 Great Lakes in Canada, bordering the United States, whatever. There's 250,000 lakes in Ontario, right? So what I'm saying is that is it possible that somewhere along the lines, someone starts to say, we can export our water because it's now to fill cars. It's now part of the transportation system.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. It's
certainly something to watch that we don't get a stupid. Whoever thought our government, though, Michael, would sell our hydro plant?
Whoever would have thought that would have ever happened? Or take taxpayer dollars to build the 407 and then sell it to Spain.
And then sell it.
Right? Like, honestly.
That was certainly a big mistake.
Awesome.
You know,
it's going to learn from it.
But what I'm saying, governments will make decisions in their best interest and in the best interest of their buddies. Somebody wants to sell the water in Lake Kashawakamak to a foreign country, and who cares about whatever's north of Tweed? You know, they're just going to sell it. What I'm saying is, it becomes a commodity, and so greed is going to get in there.
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing is with desalination, water actually is available in most parts of the world.
So they wouldn't have to sell. There shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just a cost thing, right? For me to go to Lake Kashawak, take a bucket of water and put it into my car, that's free. Right. For me to go and desalinate it is going to cost me $1,000, right?
What's it going to cost you to ship it to Africa?
Right. Well,
that's the desalination.
It's a numbers thing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right.
And right there, the question becomes, why would you ship water on water?
Because people are really that stupid, okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I just think about the cost of setting up a desalination plant, of getting
It's old technology, though. It's just reverse
Yeah.
osmosis.
it's still a cost, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because nuclear power plants are old technology, right?
But they're
Well,
becoming,
and then that's why we now have
Cost to build it.
micro reactors, right?
and they've become cheaper. And I again, salination should be much cheaper. And guess what? It created another industry on Saint Martin too. They have their salt fields. So
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
yeah, they export salt
Right.
from that. So they put them out in these like bogs.
What I'm saying is, it's
Word.
not going to be a negative, a zero impact thing. The cost of water is going to increase, even if it's only by 1%. It's going to go up because now water is being used for fueling vehicles.
Yeah, energy. Yeah, could be.
And the fact that it's not just any water, you just can't throw salt water in there, which is the abundance of water on the planet.
Mm.
It has to be fresh water. So, and there's a cost to desalinate. So fresh water becomes the highest value commodity, and salt water becomes, the secondary, because it's the one that is going to have a cost to make it ready to be put in the vehicles. It's just common sense, right?
Yeah.
So here,
Yeah.
just check out the link I sent. I just typed in GE and water desalination, and there's an article there how they're bringing clean water to Eleuthera in the Bahamas, right? A nation which has no fresh water.
Yeah.
These technologies they're very cost and process efficient now.
So
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Michael.
I have this little a video. It's only about 3 minutes that we're watching of this, but it's really quite. I was like just glued to my screen watching this. So hopefully you'll find it as interesting too.
We're braving the elements, Brady, to repeat an experiment that we did quite some time ago. So you'll remember we had a very small balloon of hydrogen. Match on a stick to hydrogen. Big bang coming.
You ready?
Yep, here we go. And the fact that we've come outside might actually give you an idea about what we're going to do, because we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So let's go and fill a balloon. Alright, cool.
Well, hydrogen, I think, is very important because it's the simplest atom. The atom consists of a
Einstein's
positively charged proton, which is relatively large, and a negatively charged electron that goes round it.
Electric match.
I think an electric match will go well on that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the tension on the balloon.
Hold it. I've really gone for a blow.
No, yeah. The tension.
What happens is that hydrogen is reacting with oxygen, and H2 plus O2 reacts to form H2O and an oxygen atom, and then that oxygen atom goes on to react with another hydrogen molecule to make more water. And the reaction generates a lot of heat, and that heat heats up more gas to make it react faster. So you generate more and more heat, so the reaction that begins quite slowly with the first few molecules runs away, and that's why you get the explosion.
So here we have a rather large balloon of hydrogen. Neil is just preparing our electric match, which we're going to attach to the side of this balloon.
And some of the biggest explosions in the 20th century, the Chernobyl reactor, the space shuttle that blew up when it was taking off, were in fact explosions caused by hydrogen and oxygen.
So we filled up a balloon of hydrogen. And I think if you look at the hydrogen balloon, you'll see that it's slightly larger than those we've attempted before. Now we're going to try and detonate it, or burn the hydrogen, in the air by giving it a match. And the match we're going to use is again an electric match, which is connected to our detonator box.
If you stick a pin in the balloon will burst because the rubber will break, but the hydrogen will come out, and it won't react with the oxygen because the hydrogen is cool. It's at the same temperature as the air. But the reaction of hydrogen and oxygen, like many reactions, involves a so-called activation energy. You have to put in a certain amount of energy to get it going. But once you get it going, you get more heat coming out than you put in to start it off.
So let's arm the circuit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That was more like
Lovely.
When Pete puts the match to the balloon, first of all,
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I looked at this guy and went, oh my God. And then I went, wow, this is actually a concept though, that like the way he explains it was easy to get, right? Because I only have that grade 11 chemistry or whatever, 10 chemistry when you do the periodic table. I get how that works. So I now understand a lot of how that stuff. And I went, oh, look at that balloon. Oh, the humanity. That came back to me, right? The Hindenburg there. But
There was no turkeys involved, though.
yeah, no, that's right. And so, oh, I thought she was inviting us to the hot tub turn. Okay. Anyway, it just made it really, really interesting. I thought it was anyway, worth the watch to see how that works. So,
But that's what makes it so green, because your byproduct after the reaction's over is water.
yeah, just more water molecules that are looking for hydrogen and
And the
all that.
water will find its way to the lakes, to the creeks, to the rivers.
Eventually,
There's
yeah.
a car company, isn't it? Is it Volkswagen that's doing all hydrogen, or they're looking to they were late to the game on the electrical vehicles because they were investing heavily in hydrogen. Is it Volkswagen or Toyota?
I know that all the European automakers, I think there's actually a consortium in
Is
Europe,
Hyundai doing one too?
and they're working on that.
Hyundai?
And there's another
I
consortium with
where they were showing like an electric vehicle and then a hydrogen vehicle. I have to go back and find it, but
there's
it was
a
like around the
cons-
time they were releasing the Kona, and then there was another one that they came out that was hydrogen, and they were saying it's obviously going to be more, popular in California and places where there's more hydrogen fuel stations and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and
Sorry, Mike, I didn't
they're
mean-
already doing that.
there's I know Ford, GM, and I think Toyota were also working together. They were working with Ballard Power Systems out of Vancouver.
Okay.
Ballard was one of the sort of leading original hydrogen vehicle. They actually produced many years ago hydrogen buses, which I think were in service in the city of Vancouver as they were trying to scale it, bring it down. They hadn't made a system that was small enough for cars. They were still, and that's where I think the Ford, GM, Toyota, maybe Volkswagen's in on that one too. But it was multiple auto manufacturers, because no one manufacturer is going to go take this on alone. They're going to develop this technology together, right? Why compete against each other? You put your stuff together, and even when you buy a car today, so many components come from third-party manufacturers, whether it's Lear or whoever it is, and you find them in a Chrysler, a Toyota, Honda, GM, whatever.
Yeah. Michael's been mentioning this consortium, and it's huge in Europe for development. There's actually a consortium bank that's been around for 10, 15 years that helps these European countries develop. So they'll go in with them, right? And in African, sorry, European and African. Because I was reading about Egypt's possibility for hydrogen to be green. The Ukrainian, they've already been in a contract with the European Resource Development Committee, I think it is, right? ERDC, for 2 years over hydrogen, right? So those kind of things are just very, very cool. And, if they've got pipelines that could take other things, then they've got infrastructure laid down that they can either repurpose or like run along, right? It's getting that first tunnel going for that, gas pipeline or whatever, or oil pipeline, to throw another line beside it is not near as a huge a deal as it could be, right? So I had no idea hydrogen, it was so advanced in the world that it's really quite interesting.
North America's been really late to the game, save for the Ballard people out west.
Yeah.
It just it hasn't caught on here the way, everyone's gone gaga over electric.
Yeah. Well, even advances like in solar, I was reading this article on how if your solar panels, half of it gets shaded, you know how like they're really strict about, you can't have any trees around or anything like that, is that your solar panel can virtually go from, that 30 to 40 kilowatts to like 0 with just a portion of it being shaded. I went, that's ridiculous. How long has solar power been around, right? And so I don't know what took so long, but they kind of figured out that if you have part of your solar panel shaded, because there is a diode that keeps that energy that's produced, there's only one in a solar panel typically, or not even on the panel itself, sometimes like in a junction box. So nothing holds that charge. It just kind of leaks out. And it's like, my God, what a waste of money, like energy, right? And so this one company has realized that in each little area that produces power from the panel, bless you, if they put more diodes in, that they can stop that leak. And that even if you have, and it was like 1/16 of a panel that was covered, and there was like a 30% drop in productivity, which is virtually nothing then at that point, right? And I'm thinking, again, guys, this is not new stuff. Like, how is this? This is ridiculousness, right? That the cart's still in front of the flipping horse.
Well, it's a solar panel, so you need sun. Now, I mean, I have solar panels on my boat, and I know that, on a cloudy day, you're still going to charge a bit, but it's really, really, really minimal.
Yeah.
But you keep charging right until it gets dark. Like you'll watch the, peak sun in the afternoon where it'll put out, I don't know, in mine, I think it's around, I've seen them as high as like 14.3 volts. I got 200-watt panels. And by the time you get into 8:30, 9 o'clock on the long summer days, you're maybe putting out 6 or 7, but it's still 6 or 7 as opposed to 0, right? Without the panel, your fridge is still running full on because it's been a hot day. That's one of the great things about solar panels where we use them on our boats is, when do they draw the most power on a hot day? Well, when do they create the most power? Well, on a hot day, right? So, and the other nice thing is about 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, things start charging again. You wake up in the morning and, oh yeah, I'm already halfway charged up.
Just out of curiosity, on a boat, why wouldn't you have used turbine technology? Doesn't have to be 20 feet high. It could be just a
Where
little.
am I going to mount a turbine on a power boat?
Just like your flag. Do you have a flag off the back of your? I don't know what those parts are called.
No, turbine. You got to understand, when your boat's going through the water at 40, 50 miles an hour, can you imagine the force on the hull? Going to rip that thing right off the hull.
Yeah, but it's on an angle, just like your.
Doesn't matter. It's gonna.
Still will?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The drag that's created, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So the other thing is, a lot of people on the back of their boat there, you know what's mounted there? When you're moving, it's your dinghies up. Your dinghies there. There's nowhere to put something like that. No, solar panels are great on boats. And people who have, like, I have to put mine out there when I get to an anchorage and put them up on the deck. They just sit there. There's no problem. But for people who have hard top roofs, they'll mount them permanently. People who have larger boats where they have, a hard top cabin, and just put them up on the roof, mount them permanently. You put 2, 3, 4 up there. Some people have even 600 watts of generating power. They run, full size fridges in their boat. I mean, you can generate a lot, and on a boat, there's not a huge draw. Your biggest draw, my only real draw when I'm at the dock is my fridge. Right, that's my main draw.
And now, other than using your solar, is your only other option electricity?
No.
To be an electrified dock? Oh.
So my boat, I can plug in and run on 110 volt, which is electric. So my fridge will run on AC or on DC.
Right.
Runs both ways. It's what they call a dual wired fridge. So it runs both ways. For cooking, I have a 2-burner electric stove that I cannot run off my panels, that I need 1500 watts. So I need a generator or being plugged in for that.
Okay.
But I can also run, it's supposed to be alcohol, but I won't use alcohol because you can't see. Alcohol has a clear flame. You can't see it. So I actually use methyl hydrate, produces a blue-yellow flame. So you can see it. And so my stove can run either way.
Okay.
And and I mean, the only other things I'm using hydro for is to run my TV at night. If I want to watch TV, I turn on my TV. LED TVs do not draw very much. Quite frankly, a car radio, like a car stereo, draws more power than a TV these days.
We used to have a propane tank on the old motorhome when I was growing up that gave us the 3-way, right? AC, it was the electric, the battery, or the propane.
Propane for a fridge on a boat is a explosion waiting to happen.
I didn't like it either.
Because propane will sink deep, and the problem with sinking deep in a boat is your engine is in the deepest part. And if that propane gas gets down into your bilge area and it's not vented out, and you hit the ignition to start your engine, there is a spark at that moment.
Oh, the humanity. Oh, sorry.
A boom. It happens. People, propane's not the greatest thing on a boat. That being said, people do have, including myself, have propane barbecues.
Barbecues, yeah, I was going to say.
Fortunately, they're used outside, and it's always best to use those outside of the hull.
And smaller, obviously, tank, right?
They're just the little green I use. Well, now some people will buy the little 5-pounder tanks that they mount on their swim platform.
Really, huh?
And run the barbecue off that. I just use the green screw-on ones.
Yeah, they're very minimal.
I don't
fairly decent.
I go through maybe, I don't know, 10 or 12 of those in a summer.
Are they refillable yet?
There's people who know how to do it. I know people who actually do that.
Yeah.
They'll go to the propane place, fill one of those 5-pound ones up, and they've made themselves a little tool which will allow them to fill the little green ones up.
It is ridiculous that they're not refillable, right?
I don't know what happens when you put them into the recycle, if they go back somewhere and they actually do get refilled or not. I don't know.
Oh, Michael, that sounds so sensible. You're ridiculous.
I know.
By the way, Nathan, thanks for the Hyundai Nexo. Very attractive car, but for a vehicle like that to start at $79,000,
I know,
for hydrogen. I mean,
I didn't say it was a good idea. I'm just saying they're in the game.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that hydrogen has a lower combustion rate in the atmosphere, but when you put it into a tank, it is higher combustion rate. So there you go. I just thought I'd share that information with you as well when you're thinking about putting your children into that hydrogen SUV.
My husband can drive it all day long. Oh, sorry.
But what happens? But what happens in the evening?
We are recording, Kathryn.
Yeah, I know.
Is he allowed to drive it in the evening too, or not?
For sure. And at least I'll see it when it happens, right? I'll know. Anyway, on that note, thank you for the conversation, everybody. I'm glad you were able to come and join us. Again, don't forget.
Can I just give a plug for the candy?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so folks, I've just gotten really turned on by this car. Okay,
that we can't get.
That we can get in Canada. Yeah, you just have to go through the brain death of importing it. But in the United States, you can now pick up. Candy Motors has the K32, I think it is, which is $14,000 for an electric car.
14,900.
14,900. Okay, 15. Okay, 15,000.
US.
Okay.
22 Canadian.
You're channeling Teresa right now, Kathryn. Okay. Anyway, the point
it's American.
It's American. Okay, for God's sake. Honestly. Anyway, so but for $14,000 for an electric car that actually goes up to 65 miles an hour, it gives you a range of 150 clicks. All right.
Clicks or miles?
Yeah, tooling around the city. But wow, for 14 grand.
Yeah.
I would
you guys want a throwback for the 60s. It's not Westphalia, but Hyundai has a European camper van that I looked at it and went, man, that looks just like the VW buggies, right? And so it was like amazing. But it's only in Europe. It's not even in North America yet, right? So it's pretty interesting. Don't forget about Ivan's training that's coming up at 11, right?
Yes.
And then we'll see you Monday. Bring a friend. Get them registered so that Ivan, Teresa, and I will let them in. Because if we don't know they're coming or that you don't let us know. But the best way is to do it off the website because then you'll get credit when they join, right?
That's right. Yep, you get credits.
Okay.
And go vote.
Yes,
don't
and
complain.
That's right. No complaining if you don't vote.
That's right.
Right, and you do not have to have a voter's card. You just go, hey, Dr. Google, where can I vote? And it takes you right to the site. You throw in your postal code because we didn't get the voter cards.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
We didn't.
Just bring ID. That's all you need is
But I had
ID.
to find out where I was going, and we were able to do it from our postal code, and then it allows you to check to make sure that you are registered. Like you put in your date, your address, your name, your address, and your birth date. And because we got them for the federal election for the address that we're at, and so yeah. We're all registered, so we can go vote. And it's got parking. Awesome. What an intercity problem, eh?
I know.
We're all worried about parking. Stoney Creek, Dundas, and Ancaster in London. They're going like, everybody's got parking.
I can see my voting location from my front yard.
Oh my goodness. All right, Sarah Pellin. Oh, sorry, that was Alaska. And sorry. Yeah, okay.
In China.
Yeah, I Googled mine because I done like, a couple of weeks ago. I never looked.
Hi, Michael.
Gotta run another meeting.
Where are you going? Where are you going, Maggie? Where do you vote?
It's Eastdale Elementary.
Oh, okay. Down.
Yeah, so it's in Stoney Creek here. Yeah.
Down towards Barton. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually, according to, I Googled it, and apparently it's a 12-minute walk. So I'm going to probably walk down.
Oh,
nice.
You're north of Highway 8 then, right? You're in between Highway 8 and Barton?
Yeah, but I'm only like a few doors down from Highway 8 on Chester, like about, I don't know, 3 down. So
was mine, Nathan. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably walk because I'm going to Toronto today. So
good for you.
Over to the bus and
good for you. Hey, Hamiltonians, let's support the Forge Saturday night. They're in the Canadian finals against Toronto at Tim Hortons Field.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Have a great weekend. See you in a half hour.
Nice.
Good seeing everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Coming.